side. And with all this pain that I've been through, I wish that welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yo! You see me? First of all, I got a lot of people, really my cousins, that was like, oh my gosh, I hated how blurry the camera was, this and that. Guess what? My guy Chris hooked me up, turned the ISOs up, you know, he had to give me the camera lingo, and now he had the light separating, so my, like, yo, he had me hooked up, you know. Now I'm in a different side of the room. Now you're not seeing my mirror and my dresser and whatnot. Now you're seeing the wall and my paintings, but you can't see them, you know. You got my, I would take them down for you, but it's gonna be too much work to put them back. Actually, you know what, that's fine. You know, I painted this myself at a painting set with Queen. It's just the trees and a moon. See? Now it's gonna be all lopsided. And then this big boy, my favorite, the Shattered Man. The original. The OG. Yes, sir. I always have to have this. Shout out to Nydia, my sister, also known as Aiden's art. You see the signature at the bottom, so you know it's real. This one can't be sold. This one is staying for lifetime. You know what I'm saying? She did this at a show. I was doing poems at a church, and they had asked both of us, like, for me to do poems and her to do her to draw while I do it. And the funny thing about it, that time, it's all lopsided now, but it's fine. That time, that show, I didn't have anything specific, and so I just started reading. And usually I don't even read from my journal or anything like that. I just started reading different poems from my journal, and at the end of it, she had made this, and it was just so dope. Like, it was me, and I literally had on a yellow beanie. I would go get it, but you know, it's gonna be a lot of work. I had on a same goldish yellow beanie, and obviously you see the beard. And it was just so dope, and I had it in my room for a minute, and then I was like, nah, that might be my logo. Like, that's the one. And since then, Shattered Man is that. And then I created a poem for it. Haven't created a video for it yet, so it hasn't been online. And I'm starting to get to a point where it's like, I'm just gonna do it and forget the grand idea. But that one I usually have behind me when I'm creating. Oh, and I got this stocking stuffer for me and Queen. I have Queen's initial here, and she has my initial at her house. Oh, so cute. Alright, get it. Alright, let's get past that. Damn, I forgot. No, notes from, did a lot of editing just to get back to this point. And one of my key takeaways is that I don't need to be eating on camera, because I hate how it sounds. So a lot of the times I was eating candy and stuff, I edited that out. Only a couple times I left it in, because what I was talking about in between was good enough. But like, number one pet peeve for me in this stage of life is hearing people chew. And it's like, it drives me insane. And sometimes it's the worst when I hear you chewing and I look at you and your mouth is closed, so I'm still hearing it through your mouth, and it's like, that's how I feel. when that happens. So I thought about that, and then here you go eating freaking Teddy Graham, and then I'm gonna go edit, and it's gonna be like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Then cause then it's like, now I'm mad at myself for even doing what I hate, what I hear and just from other people when they chew. So I'll still eat this last one, but this is gonna be my last one. See, that's how you chew with your mouth closed. Anyways, guys, I'm just happy to be back. Actually, funny enough, I was a little bit under the weather today, and I'm still kind of under the weather, but I'm here. And really and truly, what happens is I edited a lot in October. All the videos that you saw coming out every Monday and Friday, even if you didn't notice, it was coming out every Monday and Friday. All those videos were came from me editing all of October. Just hours of what I did in January, February, March, right? And I didn't record nothing April, May, June, July. It was just a daunting thing that just got built up bigger in my head. It was like, can't work on the poem because I gotta edit this stuff. I can't edit this stuff because it's too much to edit. And it just kind of snowballed until I just didn't do it at all, and I neglected the poem with a whole different poem, and then never came back to this one. But now I'm back to it because I finished that poem, The Lion's Den, that I was also been doing for years. That was also a candidate to be, you know, the poem of the series, but I had already started it. I already had a lot written down by the time, you know, I thought about doing this, so it didn't make any, like, I'd rather start fresh with this one. But those two poems, my Daniel and the Lion's Den poem and this poem, Are You Willing to Drown, are the two poems I genuinely feel like God wanted me to write before I do anything else. Why? I don't know. I could be wrong in that, but by faith, that's what I believe that I heard from him. That's like, yo, those are the two. Like, focus on those two before anything else. Those two need to get done, and you know, what's the harm in seeing that through? You know, so all in all, I haven't been writing anything. I haven't been writing anything pertaining to this. I've just been editing a lot. Damn, I forgot my train of thought because I'm just all over. Oh, I was saying how I was under the weather today. Yes, that's where I was. I'm under the weather today, and I had all these scheduled posts, Monday, Friday, and the scheduled posts are good, have me covered until the 15th. Today is the 11th, and episode 9 just came out today. Go back and watch that if you'd like, you know. Another sidebar, I'm not at a point where I'm not big on, I don't feel like I have to promote this too much. Like, obviously everything needs promoting because there's people who would really watch it if you promoted it to them. But at the same time, I just feel like I'm just locked in on just doing it and not being so caught up on, oh, I gotta, you know what, let me switch my thought. It's not that I don't care about promoting it, it's that I don't care if you respond to the promotion of it right now. Now, I'm not caught up on like, dang, like right now currently my videos get 3 views, 1 like, 2 views, 1 view, blah blah, and it's like, it's cool. I put up a little snippet on Instagram, gets a little not much traction either, but like I'm not phased by that because I'm just focused on just putting stuff out, because for so long I haven't been putting stuff out. And so I did all the work, had a schedule, putting all the posts together, scheduling on YouTube, all that stuff is great. And then I didn't work on it at all, right? And then I switched my room around, and then that was the thing, was like, alright, I'm gonna start recording after I finish getting everything settled with the room, blah blah. and then finally get that done, and I still haven't written anything because I'm working on my website, this and that, and I keep on putting excuse after excuse over it, and then it's gonna pile up, and I'm like, I can't, and then I'm gonna put another excuse. And so even though I wasn't feeling my best, and then I just decided, like, yo, I'm just gonna just hit record and just do something just to get the ball rolling again. And this is the product of that. I'm talking way more than I've talked all day today, for real. You know when your throat get a little like itchy, like it's not fully sore yet, but like that's like the precursor to like your throat getting sore. And one thing, I hate having a sore throat. Like, I'll take a headache, I'll take runny nose, I'll take chills, I'll take a lot of stuff before a sore throat, right? And so once I feel that, I'm like, then it just throws me all off, and now I feel like I can't operate the same. But yeah, I just needed to just do it. And it's funny going back, editing, and seeing everything that I forgot I said on camera and was in January and February and March, and it's like, dang, like those are real stuff, real advice I did not listen to. Like don't hit no home runs, don't just do it, just execute. I'm just trying to be consistent, blah blah blah, all these things. And I've learned, in order to be consistent, you just can't make things into mountains. You just gotta execute it. Just don't make it bigger than what it is. Like, it's not that big of a deal, type of thing. Like, at its core, I know there's a lot of layers you put on it, like, oh, this, but that. It's like, at its core, open the laptop, go to Google Keep, turn on the camera, hit record, turn on the lights, and just talk and start working on the poem. Write one line. It's just that simple. And then one line always turns into 2, turns into 5, turns into 10 when you just go back into it. So seeing myself say that on camera, and then knowing that I didn't follow that advice, and then paying the price of not following that advice, now I'm back on that timing, and I'm quicker to catch myself now when I'm in that same pattern of like, alright, I'm making a mountain out of this task. Let me, and then building anxiety about like, I can't, what about this? I don't know, I can't do that because of that, and all that stuff. And I'm catching it earlier, and I'm just kind of chopping it down, just making it simple. And so that's all it is. So it's November 11th, 10 p.m. My throat is not 100%. I don't feel, I'm slightly under the weather. I didn't comb my beard out. I didn't, all these minor things that, that will get in your way and stop you from just starting the task you set out to do. Just gotta make it simple and just do it, So, here we go. Alright, so couple of updates. The first thing I did that I recognize I didn't say is that you know how I started, like, it was clear as day in the middle of the night, right before I shut my eyes, I was working on a literary device. I fell asleep with my pen, and it pierced my dreams because I heard from God, and He asked me, are you willing to drown for this? That first section, I had moved that to the middle, like after the listing, after the school experience. I'd transitioned into that, right? That was just an idea, because initially I started with that, and then went to when I was 9 to 10, when I was in college, and then doing that. I'm playing around with that concept of how I want to start it, right? It's not really important right now. I'm just trying to get more words down. The other thing that I added was okay, I think I did say this before, but I kind of tweaked it slightly, and then what I added after that was good. So it says, they would say, if you tense up, you'll fall. If you let go, you'll float. I promise I tried to let go, but in hindsight, I learned that it had nothing to do with trying, but with trusting. I didn't trust them because I didn't trust anyone in the water, and I still don't. My lack of trust doesn't represent how I view your loyalty. It's just that my fear is greater than my faith in you, but it's not you, it's me. And I don't even trust me, but it's not me, it's the feet. It's the fact that I was on the shallow side and all I could think about was it being 6 feet deep. I promise I tried to let go. But how do you let go of death? Or just the thought of it? The thought of losing my breath every time my life is on the line. The thought of losing my breath every time my life is on the line and I don't know who's on the other side of the call. I'd assume it's God, but that's not the type of call I'm trying to pick up right now. You feel me? So it's like obviously self-explanatory. The thought of how do you let go of death? I know y'all heard that before. And it's like, or just the thought of it. The thought of losing my breath every time my life is on the line. I don't know who's on the other side of the call. Like obviously line, like a landline, like on the other side of the line, like a call, like calling, I'd assume it's God, but that's not the type of call I'm trying to pick up right now. Like, I'm assuming God calling me home. Like, and I'm not trying to pick up that call. And that could also be like a double meaning in terms of like, even the poem is about the other type of call, like on my life and being willing to drown for it. You know what I'm saying? Like being willing to die for that type of call. Yeah. The more I think about it, it's like, dang, I don't know if that's where I should kind of like jump in and like kind of dive into my next transition from that aspect. But after that, I saw everyone else graduate from the shallow to the deep end and learn how to swim. And there I was again, no longer 10, but 23, still feeling like I'm in the kiddie pool. These stories come to mind because I'm 26 and I didn't know I was in the shallow until I was asked. I remember it was clear as day in the middle of the night, right before I shut my eyes. I was working on my literary device, blah blah. Then that goes in, and then when that section ends, it's like, it's not often I hear from God, so I woke up and wrote it down. God, why would you ask me to drown? And so, alright, this is what I have after that. Now we're caught up, right? So, God, why would you ask me to drown? God, why did you ask me this 3 years ago and I'm thinking about it now? God, I know you didn't give me a spirit of fear within, but God, I still don't know how to swim. God, which water are you talking about? The one we live with or the one we live in? The one you want us to step on or the one we love to step in? Now, that last line, the water line, those are getting cut because I haven't found a way to make it make sense. I like the rhythm of it. Which one are you talking about? The one we live with or the one we live in? The one we step on or the one we step in? But like, when you think about it, it doesn't make actual sense. What is the water we live with, like in our body, or the one we live in? What do you mean live in? Like it sounded good, but it didn't make sense. So I had it there, but like I was trying to find a way to like make it make sense, and I haven't found a way yet. So I haven't deleted it yet, but it's on the chopping. It's unless something clicks and I find a way how to maneuver it, it's getting deleted for sure. It's the first thing going. That whole 3 lines. Even the 2 lines before it, like, God, I know you didn't give me a spirit of fear within, but God, I still don't know how to swim. Like, that's cool, but like, it's kind of whack. Like, I'm not even just talking about the rhyme of it. It's just like, it's kind of not, doesn't feel necessary. The only line that I like is just the first one, like, God, why did you ask me this 3 years ago and I'm thinking about it now? Like, and that's just, very interesting to me. Like, it just, that dream had never, that experience had never left my mind enough where I needed to write about this. Like, what does this mean? Like, was that experience all connected to where I'm at right now, this current season? That would be mind blowing, yeah. Alright, so now my thought is, even though I did like that line, God, why'd you ask me this 3 years ago and I'm thinking about it now, it might have to go because I got nowhere to pivot from there. I feel like anywhere else I go with that from there, it's just gonna be like a harsh kind of cutoff, So it's gonna have to, that one is gonna just kind of go in the draft, like deeper in the file, and just be like, alright, I'll, if I need it later, I'll use it. The other ones, I'm actually gonna delete those now, because the more I look at it, I'm like, it's whack, bro. Like, what are you doing? Alright, so now here's what I'm thinking, right? There's a lot more that I did write that I haven't said, right? Because it wasn't poetic, it was just real. And sometimes I get to a certain part in the creative process where I need to, like, I'm so caught up in the next line or I get stuck in that current section, that current line, and I kind of lose what is this about. So sometimes it does help me to just kind of take a step back and just write, what is this, or just to write, just to say my thoughts out in general. So I have three different things that I'm gonna share with you, or maybe I will, maybe one of those I'll dive into, or all of them. So I start with where I'm at currently, how this process for the series started, right? It started with me losing my job. I didn't get fired. My job shut down. I was working at a school. Shout out West Murder, you feel me? I don't know if I'm really supposed to say the school's name even though it's shut down, but if you know, shout out to them, to the people, not really the school, but the people I work with. They had shut that, like, they had given us, like, I want to say in September of 2023, they had let us know that start looking like this is done come December 31st, right? And so obviously, like I was telling you in the first episode, that came in conjunction with some messages from my pastor at the time that stirred me up, and like, yo, this is my leap of faith. This is me going by faith and whatnot. So what I wrote down for this section is, in 2023, my job shut down. I saw the tides rise. I stopped looking for a job and told myself I'd do this full time. I saw the water start to reach my knees when I approached God in prayer. I prayed for a chance, an opportunity, provision. I prayed for it all. Like, recently I got to a point where I can't pray at all. I need to save my breath. The water is at my neck. Alright, that sounds good. Even rereading it, I was like, ooh. So there's the actual current, like, the job aspect of this, like, that part of it, right? That I can go into. Then there is the idea that, I'm just gonna go in order of thoughts and not, like, make it cohesive. So the next section I have there is I think God asked me to drown because he knew that's what I feared most. He knew it wasn't just the water, it's the embarrassment, the lack of control, the pride, the discomfort. He knew it would get my attention. I remembered recently that this wasn't the first time he's tried to get my attention with this topic. Alright. Also, side note, I did have another story. So that whole, I remember being 4 or 5 standing in the kiddie pool. I remember being 9 or 10 standing in the kiddie pool and whatnot. I had written that years ago because I was gonna write a poem called Depth of Me, right? And it was kind of similar concept of like just taking this more seriously, not being on the shallow and like going deeper, you know, type of thing. But also, now reading that part makes me want to bring back the why would you ask me this 3 years ago and I'm thinking about it now, and then I could almost answer that. But that feels like, that thought process feels like more conclusive. Like me answering that question makes it feel like I found the answer when I haven't. And like a bunch of side notes. This is all side notes because that's where my brain is going. So I was listening to a podcast, Creative Control. There's No Big Deal's podcast. Shout out No Big Deal. Christian rapper. Super dope. And he was interviewing his guy, John Keith, another Christian rapper, also super dope. And they were talking about even just the idea of when they're creating, not being forced to put a pretty bow on it because of they're Christians, and not being like, not trying to squeeze the whole message of the gospel and redemption and all that stuff into their 3-minute song, because then it feels forced. It's not realistic. And even just think about the Psalms and just a lot of aspects of the Bible where it's like they did not, a lot of people's stories didn't end with a pretty bow on it, you know, and where they got to be like, yes, in the end this and this happened. Like a lot of stuff, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it was fine. Like I think about Moses ended, technically Moses' story ended with him striking the rock instead of speaking to it, and then the guy was like, yo, you're a dub, bro, you're not going into the promised land, like you my guy, but that's it for you, like you're done. And he'd be like, you know what, the most I could do for you, I could let you see it, but you're not walking into it, like that's not for you no more, like, you know, that passed. And so Moses end where he's able to see it, see the land, the promised land from a mountain, and then he dies after that, shortly after that. That's not the way that Moses' story was supposed to be, like, end. Like, for all the work Moses did and whatnot, you think it would be wrapped up with a pretty bow where it's like, yes, he got redemption, he gets to the promised land, everything goes well, and that's just not the reality of this faith. Like in between now and Jesus coming back, like there's gonna be a lot of stuff that are incomplete, a lot of things that just are sucky, you know, and it'll only be completed when Jesus comes back, when we are in heaven and new earth, and we are, you know, in our new bodies, and everything is grand and perfect and whatnot. But until then, there's gonna be there's always gonna be trials. Like even I think about John 16:33 or 17:33, one of them where it's like, there will be trials and sorrows in this life, but take heart because I've overcome the world. I, meaning Jesus, is the one who was talking, and it's like him overcoming the world, it happened when he died on the crossroads, but also like when he comes back and he's gonna win that battle and all that stuff. But as of right now, November 11th, 2024, he hasn't come back. So then there's still wickedness going on, there's still this going on, there's still sadness, there's still anger, there's still pain. All these things are happening, right? And as a creative who is, you know, a human who is God honoring at the same time, to be authentic in that, and even to read the Psalms and seeing how they were authentic in their journey and where they're at, their thoughts, their doubts, all that stuff, I feel like it's on me. It's my duty to be authentic and in that way. And so tying it back to what No Big Deal and John Keith were talking about, it's just like, yeah, they're not feeling like being authentic, to not have the need to tie this up prettily and make it, you know, end it on a positive note if it's not positive, you know, right now. And there's no downside, there's no con or negative to ending where you're genuinely at, or how you genuinely feel about a topic that God is still working on you on, or you're still working through, and putting that out for the people to authentically see. And then and hopefully over time, if it changes, people can see the growth, and God will get even more credit than you trying to pretty up this topic when it's not a pretty topic. There's so much topics that's just not pretty. There's not pretty answers to it, but we gotta grit our teeth and trust and believe that how we're supposed to respond to these things is the right response, and it will be worth it in the end. Where it's like, nah, I don't want to respond with kindness or forgiveness when somebody does this, and I don't want to do this, but this is what I'm called to do, this is what I'm commanded to do, and I'm wrestling with that, and I'm trying to trust that even though this doesn't feel good, or even though I won't get my, or even though I won't get my vindication or my resolution, like I don't know when I'll get it, but I have to trust that it'll come in due time, whether that's in this current time or when Jesus comes back. And that's just a tough thing to deal with. And so if you're in the middle of that process, then it's like, nah, let that be seen. If you're struggling with a certain topic, if you're struggling with a certain idea, concept, and you want to put that out creatively and authentically. And the other part is, it is kind of scary to feel like, especially as you gain an influence, which I don't feel like I have a ton of influence like that, but like in general, if you feel like, dang, if I put this out like that, then what if that leads somebody else astray? And then it, like, they can twist it, or like somebody else can twist that and make it seem like, oh, I believe this, when I'm just wrestling, and I'm just, or like this person gonna be like, oh, and that can be used to attack you. And that's the danger of art, the vulnerability of it, where it can be used against you. But if you aren't vulnerable, that can also go to your detriment as well too, because people's gonna be like, nah, like, we're gonna see through that eventually. It's either it's gonna show in the music that you're being false, or it's gonna show in your real life, and it's gonna come out somehow. So either way, it's like what you put out can be used against you, but we just kind of have to trust that this is gonna be this is not in my control. Like, if God is in control, and me doing this, me being honest in where I'm at and how I wrestle with this. And I'd also say, obviously, the wrestling should mostly come in private, and from there it can flow into your art and obviously go through your own whatever leadership, mentors, people around you who can kind of like be like, yeah, no, maybe, hold off, whatever, and go through that process with that. But I know the fear is that, dang, what if I say this and somebody takes it the wrong way? I can't control that. And that's a scary thing, to be like somebody else might use this against me when I'm just being vulnerable, being honest and authentic. It's like, isn't that what you want, type of thing. But yeah, all that to say, this poem, I don't want it to be I don't want to wrap a bow on it if there's no bow to wrap. I'm not opposed to wrapping a bow on it, but if I don't have an answer, if I don't have I don't want to have to force a redemptive arc to it. You know, I kind of want to, I feel like even the point is just kind of sitting in that tension. This whole year I've been sitting in a lot of tension of just like on several facets in my life, just tension. And I think that's just a part, that's what this poem is. It's a lot of tension. It's like, yo, guys asking me to drown, I can't swim, I'm afraid of even swimming or drowning. What is this, you know? Alright, I don't have a job, but I want to do this creative thing full time, but I also don't have money to do that. But also I've been applying jobs, haven't got anything. So do I still do the creative thing, or do I put more eggs in getting a regular job? But like, oh, you need to provide for yourself, but also like, dang, you want to do something that makes you like, there's that natural tension, like, oh, what do you got to do what you need to do in order to do what you want to do, but then what you need to do is still not working out. So it's like, dang, I do got to work on what I want to do anyways, but then that's also not bringing in money, even if you're feeling more productive. And there's just that tension there, like, alright, things are happening, you need, like, alright, you think about age, I'm 28, I'm about to be 29, what about this, what am I gonna do, this and that, and all these things start just wrinkling your brain. You start feeling that tension, and it is so uncomfortable. And that's kind of what I want. I want this poem to relate to somebody else who is going through that season of like, yo, what are you, like, you're asking me to do something, but like, this doesn't feel good. Or like, I'm not even sure what you're asking, but like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, I don't know how to navigate through this. Like, this is, you know. So all that to say, I know, big loophole, big rabbit hole, but like, technically, think about it, that section that I read is probably not answering the question. It's not answering the question and putting a bow in it. It is answering, it's like, here's what I think, that it could be this, but that does help. Like, I do, now that me talking that out in front of you, it's just like, nah, I want this poem to live in that constant tension. So now that I've given you the context of the past and why this is so uncomfortable for me, and now let's get into the present. Alright, I don't got no job. I haven't had a job since December 2023. Right? It's November 2024. It's about to be a full year. That sounds so crazy. Like, and granted, God has been so good, just in the fact that He's put me around people, family, friends, or girlfriend that has not shamed me, that has only tried to help me, hold me accountable, but still help me, but also still give me the space to navigate through this and not kick me while I'm down, you know? So it's like I'm thankful for the people around me, because in a different setting I'd be on the street, I'd be homeless right now, you know. And right now I'm in a room with an AC on, with multiple lights. I got the ring light above, I got this light on, I got a TV, a bed, a couch, I got all these things around me. I got Teddy Grahams as a snack, just because, like, all these things are blessings that I have and that I'm thankful for. So it's like, yo, now we getting into like, alright, where are you right now? This is where I'm at right now. No job. Right? And then, and just like, let's live in that tension the rest of the poem. You know? Yeah. The context, then the current. The context of the tension, and then the current tension, and how, why, what, yeah, how, why, what is this tension? How do I live in it? Why is it here? Is it gonna go away? I don't know, type of thing. And I don't know how this is gonna end, but as of right now, I know it's not gonna end with me resolving that tension until the purpose of this season is shown to me, unless it's until everything works together and the opportunity, the financial opportunities come, or the job comes, or whatever, things just start to break through, and I'm like, oh shoot, or this is why I went through this, or the character trait that was needed, I'm shown what the character trait that was being built and why it was needed, for who it was needed for, and all that stuff. Then I'd be like, then the poem would have that bow, because then I can go and be like, oh, I could put this all in context, right? I think the poem will be done before that happens, but you never know, you know. I hope the poem is done before then, and I'd rather it be done and then kind of come back to it and add on to it, you know. So there's that aspect, right?